Okay, so we got a really interesting article sent in uh, about this moment on WWE Raw
Mm,
with Liv Morgan and Naomi.
right.
And it seems like something that really kind of cut through the usual, the entertainment.
Yeah.
It was really shocking and highly emotional. And we were curious what might be going on beneath the surface of all that.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's dive into this.
I think what stood out to me reading the article was the reaction. You know,
Right.
it was like genuine tears. Like there was some real emotion there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like presented as a typical segment
Yeah.
in the show. So
Definitely not.
it suggested maybe something more.
Yeah, and the article really, really zeroed in on this interaction where
Yeah.
Liv Morgan delivers this like cryptic message to Naomi.
Yeah.
And the big question that it poses, which is what we're going to try to kind of unpack here,
Okay.
is like, what was the intent behind the message?
Right.
Was it just purely storyline?
Mm-hmm.
Was it just a planned twist? Or could it have been tapping into something,
Deeper.
a little more personal, maybe
Yeah.
even reflecting like real life circumstances for these performers?
Yeah, and it's interesting how WWE, they really blur the lines sometimes.
Yeah.
Between, the scripted drama and reality.
Mm-hmm.
And this article uses this as a really good example.
Yeah.
Like you're left wondering,
Totally.
where does the performance end and where does the real emotion begin?
Right.
And that ambiguity, I think, is often a huge
Yeah.
part of their storytelling.
It definitely is. And that's where I thought the article got really interesting.
Yeah.
Because it kind of challenges the typical wrestling news coverage.
Uh-huh.
It says that most outlets just report like the events,
Mm-hmm.
just the what,
Yeah.
without really exploring like why or how these
Right.
moments, connect with people. And I think
Yeah.
it makes a good point. Like there might be something more to learn here
For sure.
if we can look beyond just like the action in the ring.
Absolutely.
And so then the article goes on to kind of interpret Liv's message
Okay.
as maybe metaphorical.
Interesting.
Like the fact that it was so cryptic and so like emotionally heavy.
Yeah.
Could it represent just like broader themes of resilience, the battles that we all face,
Right.
and the strength it takes to overcome challenges?
Yeah.
And they're kind of proposing that could be for the wrestlers themselves,
Uh-huh.
but also for us watching.
Interesting.
And here's where it connects with you as the listener.
Okay.
Because the article asks, like,
Mm-hmm.
could this be a message to the audience about our own struggle?
Yeah.
About, how important it is to be resilient in our own lives.
Wow.
It really reframes what might seem like just entertainment
Right.
into something potentially way more meaningful.
Absolutely.
So the big takeaway here
Yeah.
is that this interaction
Right.
with Liv Morgan and Naomi,
Mm-hmm.
with this very ambiguous message and all the emotional weight,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it offers more than just like wrestling drama.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's a lens to look at our own experiences with adversity and how we find the strength to deal with it.
Interesting.
The article we looked at today says that even moments on Raw can teach us things.
Yeah.
So thinking about all this, what challenge are you facing? Or maybe a time when you had to be resilient.
Yeah.
Does this cryptic message bring anything to mind for you?
Wow.
It's pretty powerful stuff, huh?
Yeah. Food for thought.
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.